Hi everyone! In our previous video we were having a look at the posture or stance and the basic body movements that we need for sword and buckler fighting. Now we will have a look at footwork, how we place our feet, our legs, and do that without becoming unstable. I will do a basic preliminary exercise which I borrowed from Olympic fencing, which sort of is supposed to give you the skills of moving your feet the way you like. And the first exercise is just moving your front foot in by a foot's length approximately and out again, like this. There are a few things you can train with this kind of exercise. The first is of course using a forefoot strike with a foot. This is facilitated, by the way, by having this slight angle of the foot to the outside. If it was completely straight, it would be hard to put the forefoot down without the heel striking simultaneously. And it feels awkward. You can try that if you want. So, forefoot strike is one thing you can train with that. The other thing is keeping the rest of your body, that is, let's say, from the hip upwards, more or less stable. So I'm not shifting back and forth, but then use my, let's say, upper torso tension, use all the muscles that keep me straight to keep myself in this posture. I can do the same thing with the rear foot, placing it in and out again. A nice side effect of that is that it's really good training for your legs. And if you need a challenge, you can combine it and do it front foot, rear foot, like this.
So this exercise is really important because one of the typical mistakes in swordsmanship, in fencing, by modern practitioners is that they always have to move all components of their body with a given action of the sword or of their weapons. And it's crucial that you learn to separate moving components like the hand, moving the body, moving the feet. So you should be able to decide yourself if it's just the hand moving, just the body, or just the foot. So isolating these various moves is a very important skill. This is one of the reasons why an exercise like this is really important. So when you do this, what you want to achieve is that ideally the torso, the chest and the hip do not move. So it should not be shifting the whole body back and fro all the time. So instead you want to be able to isolate this motion and the rest of the body remains as stable as possible. Yeah? And likewise with the rear foot, you don't want to shift back and forward. You want to be able to move this without shifting the rest of the body. I'm doing it wrong right now. So this is definitely something all of us want to train.
As the basic stance is relatively wide, it is pretty convenient to make gathering steps if you want to advance or retreat without changing the leading foot, for instance. So when I'm going forward, I'm closing in with the rear foot and I'm extending again with the front foot to get back to my basic fencing position. This is important for all kinds of steps that you're doing, that you're always finishing in this position. This, preferably very low, must feel like coming back home, basically. So in the other direction it works just the same, closing in with the front foot and extending with the rear foot. going backwards works just the same. Front foot is closing in, rear foot is extending.
In regards to application in free play, in your fencing practice, there's one thing that I would like to point out. When you receive pressure and you have to retreat, so I'm standing here and now I feel that pressure is coming, then this shifting back is of course really cool because it happens very, very quickly. Now, if I feel that I get so much pressure that I actually have to take a step, as we have just seen, it's important that before you take that you have to take the step before you get into a position where you are off balance and leaning back. You never ever want to get into a situation where you absorb pressure or where you yield to superior strength, where the opponent actually folds up your torso like so. Because from here, it's really easy if he keeps on pressing to push you off balance. So keep in mind the concept of opposing magnets. So one magnet is pushing and there's a particular distance that they will always keep. So as I'm being pushed and move back my body, I want to make sure that I take this step before my body is completely folded up.
With gathering steps, there is one more thing you want to look out for, and that is not getting your feet too close to each other. When you're taking a gathering step and one foot is closing in, don't do it like this. So, like this is too small, this is too narrow, you're not stable at this point. Rather, leave, let's say, at least shoulder width between your feet, like this. So, this is how much your feet are closing in. Of course, this is valid for both directions. And from here, you can take your adjustment step. So, a step forward looks like this, so it doesn't get any narrower than this. And the adjustment step. Likewise, when you retreat.